Hopefully. Should be able to hear us. Hustle is having like work stuff going on with him. Like he got a new job. You know how it is sometimes when you get a new job, you gotta commit, man. So we got Dirt in here though. Say something, Dirt.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
You guys know we're gonna be really spicy today. You guys read the topics. You know what it's up. We got Death Stranding, PlayStation playing dirty, and Xbox after the deal. I kind of want to just talk about a little bit about what maybe is Xbox's future after they finally buy that. Because I feel like we've been talking about this deal for so long. It's kind of unreal that it seems like it's about to end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly, bro. I mean, yeah, you're right about that. We've been talking about it since January, and it's been a huge thing in the Xbox community. And it's like, wow, it's almost there. You know what I'm saying? It's almost about to come to an end where it's going to be official, huh?
I said they can see you now, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Might as well just go. It looks like BitCloud late again. Oh, nice cut. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, look at the fresh cut.
Mm-hmm. I was talking to Cog, and he was like, look, man. He's like, I'm not telling you how to live your life, but you got to get your hair cut by a black dude. It's like, if he white, leave.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so appreciate everyone coming through. This is the Addict Show, where we talk about the past, present, and future gaming. I got Dirt Griggity here, man. What you been playing? What's going on, Dirt?
What's up, man? Surprisingly, you know what I've been playing, man? I wanted to finish The Last of Us 2 again. I booted it back up because the first time I finished it, I kind of rushed through it because I was trying to review it properly. So I said, nah, I'm going to take my time with it.
You prepping up for that slander when the other one comes up, aren't you?
Well, no comment on that. But I played through it again, and I have the same thoughts about it. It was a decent game, but that story was really just... It's almost like the story got worse the second playthrough. Even though I knew everything was going to happen, just some of the decisions just mind-boggling.
I personally feel like the direction they should have took that game, and I know I get clowned on when I say this, Dirt, and it makes no sense, but I feel like what would have been better is Joel didn't die at the beginning, but Tommy did, and the game is about you chasing after Joel trying to revenge his brother. And you know, imagine like coming across scenes like you know, that courthouse and like where there's just dead bodies everywhere, but it's Joel. You know what I'm saying?
Right, Joel.
Then you finally come across Joel towards like the middle end of the game, and he sacrifices himself to keep you alive. Like I just feel like that would have been the better one. That's.
Well, you know, I didn't have a problem with Joel dying. Like you said, it just. First 2 hours of the game, that was come on, man, come on, and then like forcing you to play as the person that killed him for like 10 hours of the game, and realizing she's not a bad person, and you actually start to like her a little bit. Then it was just so many bad decisions. Like the gameplay was decent, the graphics were great. It was just the story. Just I don't understand some of the decisions.
Yeah,
you know, I just don't.
It's like I said, you know, I understand why they did the way they did. I disagree heavily. I feel like there's 1,000 different areas that they could have took that story than they did take that story. Just to me, it's like, come on, man. Like, you could do this better. You could have done this way better. But it is what it is. What you been playing besides that, man? Is that all? Because I know that game that game is a little too long. If you ask me,
it's definitely a long game. I think it's at least about 6-7 hours too long. I've been playing 2K. I haven't really been gaming a lot lately. I got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. So that's pretty much the only thing I've been playing. 2K, The Last of Us 2. So I might go back and play Miles Morales because I never really finished it. I might do that.
Great game. I actually like that game more than I like the original Spider-Man in 2000.
Okay.
Is Spider-Man coming in 16 or 17?
Spider-Man came out in 18.
18. It came out the same year God of War did?
Yeah, that's why 2018, having a Pro Xbox channel was real difficult.
To be honest with you, let's be real. It was kind of hard to be a Pro Xbox channel all last generation.
Yeah, and I just started off like in 2017. I was kind of Project Scorpio was my first like big topic, and that one was a positive one. But by the time 2018 hit, and they had God of War, Spider-Man, Detroit Become Human. They had all these big games coming out. It was difficult. And Xbox really didn't have anything but Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2. And I think they did release Forza Horizon 4 that fall. But yeah, so it was rough. But I made it through it.
It's good. I've been playing Cult of the Lamb. I've been playing a lot of that.
What's that?
Cult of the Lamb.
Oh yeah. I keep on hearing about that. Yeah.
It's good. It's definitely, so far, it's a very unique game. Kind of reminds me of Moonlighters. I don't know if you've played that. It's on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Moonlighters is like that. See, where I didn't play during the bit eras, a lot of them, I played like towards the last of the 32-bit. I think that's what the last one was called. It's like the 8, the 16, the 32-bit, right? Is that what they're called?
Yep, 8, 16, 32. Yep.
I played at the end of the 32. The last couple years of that. So, I don't know what is technically like Zelda, like A Link to the Past. What bit was that? Was that 16?
Well, I don't know about Nintendo shit. I mean stuff.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's like that. Moonlighters is pretty much like you explore caverns, you explore dungeons, and then what happens is after you explore these dungeons, you loot these things you kill, they drop stuff, you take it back to your actual hometown, and you're a merchant, like you own stuff and you put it up there to sell. That's what that game's about. And that's the only way that you actually level stuff up, is doing that. So it's an interesting thing, and I think people in the chat, definitely, if you try to if you got Game Pass, like, download it. It's a very good game. Cult of the Lamb, it kind of reminds me of that. Now, I will say, right now I'm feeling Moonlighters more. I feel like Cult of the Lamb has a good mechanic system when it comes to like micromanaging, but I don't know why. Just like the interaction of like, oh, I just did a whole dungeon. Oh, I just had a really good week. Like, because every day, pretty much you take the stuff that you got from the dungeons in Moonlighter, you go back to your store and you sell it. And it's weird because it's like you have these like 4 little tables that have like it's a 2x2, so 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and you can upgrade your store in Moonlighters and make it more where you can have 3, 5. Then you can have someone that helps you so you don't so they don't rob you. Like you get to the point where people walk into your store, grab your stuff and start running, and you have to run up to them and grab them before they get out.
Nice.
And then, obviously you take that money, you invest into the town, you invest it to bring more merchants into the game. It's a very core game. Now, it's different than Cult of the Lambs, but it's got a lot of the same aspects as Cult of the Lambs. But both of them seem like fantastic games. Definitely, go out there and try it out. Now, Cult of the Lambs isn't on Game Pass, so I know a lot of you in the chat be like, Addict, I'm going to wait. Feel for a wait. Here's what I'm saying. If you want to feel like you want to wait for a AAA game, okay, wait for a AAA game. But when it comes to these $20, $25 indies, let's go out there and buy it, man. These are small teams. Like, you wouldn't believe just what takes millions upon millions upon millions to make these big publishers and stuff happy. Take like $500,000 to make an indie developer happy. It's like, go out there, spend that 25, man. You guys spend that at McDonald's. You guys spend that at McDonald's. I mean, at this point, you might even spend more than that.
Hell yeah, you might
go to McDonald's for
a family.
Yeah, you spend a kid's meal $6 now, isn't it? Something like that. Like
something like that. Yeah.
You got this, man. You got this. So like I said. Definitely try out Moonlighters because it's in Game Pass right now. And then if you really like Moonlighters, then go out there and drop that 25 and try that game. But all right, let's get into it, man. We got a great show going for you guys. We got Death Stranding. Apparently, it's rumored it's going to PC Game Pass. As in rumored, it's pretty much happening. I mean, I even think the official Game Pass PC came up in there, and they announced it. They might as well have announced it. We got PlayStation playing dirty. Apparently, they're going around to these publishers saying, yo, I don't like Game Pass. I'm going to give you a blank check. Don't put your stuff in Game Pass. And then we got Xbox after the deal. I just want to go over with dirt, and, Bit Cloudy shows up eventually. What we think is the aftermath, what we're going to happen afterwards. And, we might got a little bit of small topics, me and Dirt talking about. I know there's a lot of stuff going around about Forsaken, the Forspoken. I keep messing up that name. Yeah. Forspoken, apparently people think it's cringy. You know what's crazy? When people say that game is cringy, I'm like, have you ever played JRPGs? Ever?
Yeah.
Go play 5 minutes of Kingdom Hearts and tell me it's cringy. They're all cringy. But anyway, man, let's get on with this, man. First off, let's talk about this Death Stranding thing. This thing going good, man. It's. I woke up, man. First off, let me tell you guys. I woke up to King being messy in the ILP chat.
Of course,
messy. He said obviously he'll probably have a problem if I say word for word what he said, but we'll read a couple what King said. So he posted and he says, oh no, Cognito posted and says, oh, and then King just posts gifs over and over again. Gifs over and over again. Laughing gifs. King loving this. If you guys think this is going to be good, just wait till Sunday, man. Just wait till Sunday. Which, we're going to have an industry guest on Sunday. So maybe King won't be as messy because we've been trying to pull that back a little bit during that. So we don't go too extra when it comes to that. We got a $2 super chat from Phantom Kraken. Dirt, why don't you get a haircut like Addict? Never mind, man. That's jacked up.
Hey, you know what? Nah, that's my WBG brother. Now, why would you say that, Joey? That hurts. That hurts me deeply.
Phantom Kraken, you should feel ashamed of yourself.
How dare you, sir?
So, obviously we see this Death Stranding thing. What do you think when you first saw this? First off, we both know that you laughed. You opened it up, you saw it,
yes,
and you just started laughing driving down the road. We both know.
I'm going to show you my exact reaction. Okay, I got my phone. I'm scrolling through my phone.
You know, when they first posted that in there, I kind of thought they were saying it was coming to Xbox. For a second.
Man, can you imagine?
For a second, I thought it said it was coming to Xbox, and I was like, this week's about to be lit. And then I saw PC Game Pass. They need to kind of take that Xbox PC Game Pass thing away. Just call it PC Game Pass. We don't need to put Xbox in that name. You're confusing me, man. You're making me think I'm going to have a lit week and it ends up being downgraded. I don't want that, man. We're going to be interesting in here. But, you know, when I saw this, I'm thinking, yo, so how is it that Mike... So first off, let's throw all the stuff on the table, Dirk Riggedy.
Let's go.
Who owns the publishing rights to Death Stranding?
For the PC, I believe. Well, okay. I believe for console is Sony. For PC, I believe is it 505 Games?
Yeah, 505 Games. You know what's crazy about that too? I'm kind of confused because to my knowledge, Sony owns Death Stranding IP, don't they?
Yeah, I think they do. I think you're right.
And people,
I think you're right.
People sitting there like, oh, you know, this is Kojima. Kojima's the one that said this. And I'm like, how is someone that owns the IP going to walk up and someone that doesn't own the IP is going to look straight at them and say, I'm putting yo shit on someone else's platform? Makes no sense to me. This is Sony letting this happen, guys. This is nothing else more than that. Sony owns the IP of Death Stranding. If this, whatever happens with Death Stranding, that is a result of Sony letting it happen.
Things have changed, Addict. Things have changed in just a few years. If people would have said Sony would allow a game, well, their games go to PC first off. No way in hell would Sony allow their games go to PC. Their games sailed, unlike Xbox. I know you remember hearing that because I do. Now, Sony not only allowed their games on PC, but now we're seeing them allow a game that they own, a IP that they own, they technically own, to go to Xbox Game Pass on PC. Well, I mean, it's not that weird nowadays because I can't hear you.
I'm talking on the phone. Just keep.
I'm sorry. I saw your mouth movement. But not only that, with MLB The Show being in Game Pass, it really shouldn't be a huge surprise at this point. But it is funny. It's definitely funny because Death Stranding was a game that a lot of people capped for. A lot of people dislike, like myself. A lot of people like. But at the end of the day, it is owned by Sony, and it is going until Game Pass for PC. So yeah, this is funny. I have to admit, some of the things that's been happening this generation so far with some of the decisions Sony has made, I believe it's going to benefit them as a platform and as a company. But you know, it's funny for the PlayStation fanboys and their reactions. That's the funniest thing to me, to see their reactions, to see them cry and complain about what Sony is doing. For them to threaten to bomb PlayStation buildings, for them to lose their minds, that's the funniest part to me. That's the entertainment.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. So MLB was forced by I don't care who was forced, but it's just funny that a Sony first party team is developing a multiplat that's in Xbox service. And here we have another game that's owned by PlayStation that's in a Xbox service.
And that's what I'm saying. We got to be understanding here that this is happening. Like it's the naturalization of stuff. You know, even with Sony owning it, I do think Kojima has some bargaining power when it comes to it. I'm sure that he wants to make a sequel. I'm sure that Sony, to a point, has to be realistic with the matter. Regardless what happens, I don't know. But, I think that this is something that's just standard. Now, obviously, we can joke about it. It's funny. It's funny. And we're joking mainly from the aspect of these PlayStation fanboys that, cried and died this game, and now this game's somewhere else. That's what we're mainly talking about this But the part that's just funny is just like, this happens. You know, don't be surprised if we get hit with that Sunset Overdrive 2 on PlayStation only. You know, don't be surprised that happens. And you know, the way this generation's going, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony's already greenlit it. You know, because that's a bad look on PlayStation. You know, and what I think's funny is like people act like that Spider-Man and like the Marvel universe on PlayStation is like in concrete. It's not. Right now they have a good relationship with Marvel. We don't know the future of that. We don't know if the next time, because here's the thing, regardless how good that Spider-Man game is doing, or Wolverine, or whatever they decide else to bring to it, the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, Sony, Marvel don't care about that. You know what Marvel cares about? That Spider-Man IP on the movies. They want that. And if that starts going south, do you not think everything else is going to go south?
Of course,
you know,
absolutely.
Marvel might be like, all right, because you know, let's say Sony wants more money the next time. Okay, you know, we ain't doing this. We're just going to write them out of the story, and once your contract's up, that's all. Like you ain't doing no more with the games, you know. And I'm not saying there's a chance that's going to happen. There's probably a very slim chance, but the way this industry works, don't be surprised if anything changes at the blink of an eye.
Yeah, I agree. This is a different time, man, where there's things that's happening us as gamers never thought would happen. Some of the stuff we're seeing going on nowadays, it's just a different time. So I wholeheartedly agree with you. We just can't assume everything is going to be great forever between Marvel and Sony. We just can't assume that. We just don't know, man. Things are changing, and we just don't know what will happen next. I never thought I would see Xbox about to buy Activision Blizzard. I swear I never thought I'd see some stuff like that.
It is what it is. You know, I just think that it's funny how things work out. I think that's when it comes down to it, you know, that's why I always encourage people, don't double down on stuff on Twitter.
Never, yeah, and never say never.
Yeah, you know, even when it comes to, you know, games being on PlayStation only or Xbox only.
Yeah, never.
Don't ever put anything in stone, ever. Absolutely. Because at any point in time in the next couple years, things could drastically change, and that's what I'm here to tell you, man. You got to keep in mind that, you know, this is the gaming industry, and it's very changeable at any time. Tiles are changing constantly. And I think some people forget that. Some people think that, you know, just because something happened in the 360 era, it means it's going to happen in this area. So because something happened in the next era, it means it's going to happen in this area. It's like every generation is a clean start.
Everyone.
Because if you look at it, people sit there and say PlayStation has a good track record. They do. But guess who else has a good track record? Nintendo. You know, people sit there and say, well, Addict. The 360 didn't win that generation. It didn't. The Wii did. But it's like, the Wii did, right? Technically, if you want to get technical about this, the PlayStation came in dead last, and people was like, but at the end they caught up. Yeah, because the race was over. Like, and
Xbox stopped developing. They stopped making Xbox 360s.
And at that point, even if they stop making them or continue making them, that's irrelevant at that point, because the next generation, that is when that race was officially over. Right. Like, what do you? Because look, even if they were making consoles, do you really think that the primary focus is on that platform? And you know, it's on the next one. So it's just like people acting like you running a marathon, and you get to the finish line of the marathon, and people like, number one, go keep going. Then when does the race end?
Right.
Well, you get to the finish line, you stop running.
I love that analogy, by the way. Hey, that's a fact. That's an absolute fact. And people love to say that Xbox, yeah, the PS3 caught up. Even I say, yeah, the PS3 technically caught up. But even if you look at software sold, 360 absolutely destroyed the PlayStation 3. Because, I mean, I just feel the 360 was the box that the casuals chose that generation. That's why the software was sold more on the 360.
I feel you. And I just felt like, you know, things never seem what they are. But, you know, that's pretty much all we have to talk about. We got to see exactly what happens with Death Stranding in the future. I I don't know if it'll ever come to Xbox, but it is interesting that it is coming to Game Pass. So that means at some point, Sony and Microsoft got into a room and agreed that Death Stranding on PC can go to Game Pass. That means, just think about it. They're choosing, because they are pushing onto the PC genre. They're pushing into that market. They let their own game go into a competitor's platform into Game Pass. So that kind of blows my mind. But, we're going to go ahead and talk about PlayStation playing dirty, because it's probably going to be a short podcast this week. We might not even make it till Big Cloud shows up, because there's just not a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah, there's not a lot to talk about. Yeah.
But, guess what? This PlayStation playing dirty is interesting, man. For those of you that don't know, and, anyone want to correct me in the chat, that's fine. PlayStation is going to third-party publishers, and they're putting clauses in their contract that's pretty much saying that they can't put Game Pass in, they can't put their game into any subscription service. Keep in mind, this isn't just one. This isn't just targeting Game Pass. This is targeting the whole slate as a whole. Now, we know what they're really targeting. It's Game Pass. But Sony is being more competitive in terms of, what's the point of going out and get these publishing rights if they just go behind us and put their game on Game Pass day and date? Because then at that point, what's the point of having the publishing rights if you don't have the better place to play the game? So they are putting these in. One thing I want to ask you is, Dirt, do you think that this is a competitive thing? Well, how do you feel about it?
Honestly, I will be honest. I don't have a problem with what they're doing. I just think it's aggressive. It's you have to be aggressive in business. I don't have a problem with them, doing that, in my personal opinion. But I do have a problem with them being hypocritical. But that's not what we're talking about at the moment. I just think that when you're trying to gain an advantage on your competitor in business, you have to do aggressive moves like that. Signing exclusivity deals, doing things like that, saying, you can't put this game in that service because that service, Game Pass, is a threat. It's obviously a threat to Sony. They've been crying about Game Pass. So that's the issue I have with them, as far as, being hypocritical with crying about Game Pass and Xbox about to own Activision Blizzard and the Call of Duty franchise. So I do have that issue with them for being hypocrites. But when it comes to the question you asked me, them doing this business deal, keeping games out of Game Pass, I have no problem with it. It's business.
Yeah, I think people need to understand that. It's like, look, this is Sony is first off, it's admitting that Game Pass is some form of issue. Sure, they might not fear it, they might not run away, but they do know that this is going to be an issue in the future, and that's interesting. It's funny. It's funny. Keep going. My phone is ringing, so just keep talking about it real quick.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I've said this on my podcast and personal videos of mine. I don't have a problem with it, but I do have a problem with them crying that Xbox could potentially keep a game off of their platform. Now, just because the game is Call of Duty, which is obviously PlayStation biggest selling game every year, now it's going to hurt them. And they're crying about it. No, don't let them buy this acquisition. And they admitted Xbox Game Pass is a huge problem. Like Alex just said, for the longest, PlayStation fanboys said Xbox Game Pass was and never was. It's not a threat. All those games are Game Pass fodder, all that stuff. But as you see, it's a threat because PlayStation mentioned Xbox Game Pass by name. The moves they're making, keeping games off of Xbox Game Pass. Why would they do that if they didn't know that when you think about a $70 game and compare it to a low entry service, $10, $15 a month, they know the casual, they're not brand loyal like us, right? Everybody know I'm team Xbox. There's other people that's team PlayStation. We're going to stick to those consoles. But when it comes to the casuals, listen, bro, every generation is different. The casuals will go where it benefits them. If you can see a service like Xbox Game Pass has not only the current and future Call of Duties, but all past Call of Duties, PlayStation knows, they're going to gravitate to the Xbox. They're still going to have their strong hardcore people on the PlayStation platform, but they're going to lose some people to the Xbox. That's why they're like, no, don't let this deal go through. Please don't let it go through. They're not stupid. So them doing these deals to keep games off of Xbox Game Pass, like I said again, I don't have a problem with it. It's just aggressive business. But at the same time, they're being hypocrites because Xbox is being aggressive by buying Activision Blizzard. So you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah, I'm having stuff that's popping off at the last minute. I'll handle it here in a couple minutes. Okay. And it comes down to it, man. Man, people are really talking about my cut, man. Look, I got
yeah, man, they like your cut, bro.
I got a haircut. Can't help it. All right, it's just like, I don't understand what people expected Sony to do. Like, did they really expect Sony just to, like, okay, we're not going to even consider that there's issues with this? That's the part that just blows my mind. And it's just like, I understand. I do. Do you think that, Microsoft? Do you think Microsoft might start putting in stuff into their stuff to maybe prevent them from doing stuff like this
in the future? Probably. Yeah, there might be some third-party games that maybe, I don't know, Xbox has marketing, or maybe even PlayStation has some marketing. There might be some language in the contracts like, we will give you guys more money to PlayStation if you allow us to put the game in Xbox Game Pass maybe a year later or something, 6 months later. Absolutely, man. That's business. Listen, I have a counter offer. Like you hear PlayStation offer, Xbox has a counter offer that's more lucrative. Like, hey, man, we want your game in Game Pass, and they might say the benefits of the game being in Game Pass. If your game has microtransactions, there's going to be millions of more people that's able to play your game and can get microtransactions. So there's so many different ways they can go at it. And I believe they will, because Xbox Game Pass is obviously a huge thing for Xbox, and they want it to be the best it can be. So PlayStation, stopping games from going to Xbox Game Pass, I'm sure Xbox would eventually have some type of counter offers.
I hear you. I feel like this is just competition, man. People want competition, but people don't want people doing stuff for competition. Like,
yeah, this is competition, man.
I guarantee you see Microsoft's doing this too. It's just, no things have leaked it, which is funny. I remember the last Resident Evil, something like this popped up too. And I think that's funny in the matter. Stuff like this happens. It's just one of those things where people just got to rotate with it. So here's BitCloud, which is good because I got to call my boss real quick. So you guys keep talking about this for another 5 minutes. I'll be back. I'm sorry.
No, right.
BitCloud, right now what we're talking about is we're talking about Sony, coming up there on the edge and be like, we don't want these games in Game Pass. How you feel about that? We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, bro. You must be on mute.
How about now?
There you good.
Nah, I can't get over Addict's haircut. All right, so how many times we talked about this? I think I said it. What did I say? The spoils of war at this point. This is going to be the art of war. You're going to see both of them try to outdo one another at this point. Now, again, this is not unheard of. We've been heard this before. Saw this before. Sony always has a clause in these contracts somewhere where, they can make themselves look better. But now, Microsoft went and pulled the craziest ace card. They's like, you know what? We got more money than you. So they bought Activision. And now you're seeing other stuff being thrown out here. Now, how I feel about it, I've said this on the show as I listen, it's business one-on-one at this point. You want to make one side look better than the other. That's just basically what they're doing. Microsoft's strategy in this particular case, and this is going to work for them in the long run, especially when Call of Duty goes through. Especially when you're looking at the $70 price tag situation. Microsoft is going to say, hey, look, $25, maybe $15. I don't know how much it's going to go up, but by the time this goes through, Game Pass is probably going to be going through that price hike. So let's say $25 a month. You get, all the Call of Duties, you get all this stuff. And you get that day one. Free DLC and all that junk. I can see all that stuff being thrown in this with the consoles, limited edition consoles. They're going to make themselves look good in that particular aspect. How does Sony compete against that? It's simple. Sony needs to go into their treasure chests. They have a lot of games they can use to push engagement numbers when it comes to online. The problem is Sony's gotten lazy. And I've said this multiple times. Sony's relied on Call of Duty like a crutch. Can't rely on Call of Duty anymore. You have to go back in your own studios and push your own talent. It's that simple. Remakes The Last of Us ain't gonna do it. Especially if you ain't got the multiplayer connected with that. That ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, hey, can I say this right quick? I agree with you, and I think Sony knows that they have to, like you said, they can't really depend on COD anymore because it's about to be acquired by Xbox. Even though it will still be on the platform, it will still be on the PlayStation platform. It's just not going to be the same when there's an alternate way of playing Call of Duty at a way cheaper price for the casuals. Now, like the hardcore PlayStation fans, they're going to stick to playing COD on the system that they have already. But we know there's still a lot of people that have PS4s, that have Xbox Ones, and most of them are casuals. Some are casuals because the hardcore, we have the new systems now. But the casuals, they haven't upgraded yet.
The casuals still waiting for that big, big deal. You know what I mean? Like usually when these consoles do crazy good, there's always like those crazy bundles. You know what I'm talking about? Like, remember they had the Uncharted bundle with the custom console, the Batman thing.
And then they had the slim models that they usually really take off. Yeah.
And I can see that again. That stuff happens. Let's just mind the chat say as if Microsoft has any talent. Listen. I'm a PlayStation guy. You can check my stats. I guarantee my PSN is probably more higher than yours. The acquisitions that they made right now solidify they're going to be a force to be reckoned with as this gen progresses. Let's not be naive about the future and what's going to happen. Let's be open and look at what's going to happen. There's a reason why Sony is sweating right now. There's a reason why
I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you saying that, bro, because I will be the first to admit, last generation, yes, PlayStation, I love their first party single player games. I love their games. Best, like some of the best devs in the world.
Sony always shines in the single player aspect.
Absolutely.
That's where their mastermind's at. So you're gonna have those you're still gonna have those same bangers from Sony.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 is guaranteed to sell PS5s. You know what I mean? And Wolverine is another. You're guaranteed to get this stuff. The problem is they ain't got nowhere for multiplayer. What do they have? You know what I mean? Yeah, you're gonna have the Call of Duty license deal, whatever, for what you got right now. But what else we got afterwards? You know what I mean? Once that deal is done, we're back to square one.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, you're right. But like back to the point that the guy said, he said that Xbox don't have any talent. Look, man, let's be honest. Like I just mentioned, PlayStation has shown their talent. Xbox, they knew their weakness, right?
Yeah.
Now, you would have said what PlayStation's weakness is. What are they doing? They're developing. They bought studios that can help with that multiplayer issue that they had. Bungie, think about Fire Sprite. All of these teams, Haven is making multiplayer games. So they realized their weakness. So did Xbox. Xbox realized talent, having more studios. So we can't just
went through
go off of last generation.
We went through a whole gen of complaining about this. I've said this multiple times. My biggest issue last year for Microsoft was the simple fact they didn't try to compete. They literally did not try. You can't even deny it. That just can't be denied. They did not even try to compete. They sat there and just stewed in their own failure. And I'm sitting there watching like, that's it? What are we doing? You know what I mean? Now we're at a different situation here. They're out here actually fixing a problem. These studios fix the problem. We've always talked about Halo, Gears of War to be the only things. Now they have tons to choose from to push it. And when you throw that into the service, when you actually get the stuff right, when they actually get these games done, who's to say this is not going to be a good deal? This is going to be one of the best deals. As far as Sony's concerned and like, you know, the new PlayStation Plus Premium, again, people might listen. I love Twitter. Sometimes I love Twitter. I see dudes talking about deals now. We're the best deal in gaming, but you know we're against deals for the longest time. Listen, as much as I love PlayStation, and even Sony admitted this when they talked about this during the Brazilian commission, their service is not on par with Game Pass. It's going to take years for them to get there. And they said that not because of no hindsight thinking. No, they know that because it's a pure fact. It's not ready yet. They don't have day-and-day releases on there. And you know what's funny about that too? Day-and-day release. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it? On the PC over there on PlayStation, they actually cracked the Spider-Man joint supposedly.
Yeah.
And they found that this was part of a launcher that Sony was planning to do for PC gaming. So this whole day and date thing, I don't know if I said this. I don't know if I said this. I don't know if I said this. Listen, dude, stop saying, hey, I keep hope alive. Listen, it's a wrap. It's done.
It's inevitable.
When you got it in the source code, you know it's already being done as we speak. It's the reason why they tested the discounts on Steam. The reason why they're doing all this stuff.
I think it's coming eventually, bro.
It's a wrap. I don't know when. I can't say next year. I can't say this year. I can't say next year.
Yeah, you can't say, but I think it's eventually. Yeah. And let me get these super chats for Addict, man. Since he's busy. God's Hitman with the $5. I see London. I see France. I see more Sony games coming to Game Pass. Oh, shit.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, no. We'll see, man. We'll see. Rubber Knob with the 5. Game Pass was designed and priced for the casual market. This is why Sony is concerned. I wholeheartedly agree. I think sometimes us hardcore gamers, we just disregard the casuals. And listen, man, if you get that casual market, you're onto something. The PS4 was the casual box, flat out. The PS2 was the casual box. PS1, I think the 360 was a casual box.
Oh, hell yeah. They were the dude bro console. They had everything working in their favor. Even when they first announced that deal of the whole Call of Duty thing, you know, the DLC joint. Yeah, that pushed that 30 days. Yeah, that helped. That pushed the console to new heights. Nobody was expecting that. So it was like,
absolutely.
This is the console to get, you know, even though you had to pay for online. But again, that's where Microsoft used that into their advantage. They were like, you know what? Hey, this is what you get.
The Angry Therapist MD with the 2. Shout out to Dirt. Thank you, bro. What's happening with your Angry Therapist? How you doing, man? Thanks for stopping by. That's all I have on my end. So this is an interesting topic, man. It's just that I just think we all, like, last generation, we know Xbox faults, we know what PlayStation did, but I'm going to tell you, this is just my opinion. Xbox and PlayStation were behind in some aspects coming into this generation. Xbox was behind on studios, first party, you know, like you said, it was by Halo, Gears, and Forza last generation. Now, because they were behind on developing games, that's why we're in the current drought with Xbox, right? And PlayStation, even though they had the single player locked down last gen, with the exception of Rockstar, I think PlayStation had the best single player games, except, you know, like besides like Red Dead 2 and some other, you know, like games out there. But like you admitted, they're multiplayer. They're like, you know, like the game industry was changing right before our very eyes with this live service stuff and the multiplayer stuff. And PlayStation was behind in that aspect. So they're trying to play catch up in that field. And at the same time, Xbox is trying to play catch up in new IPs, developing games, you know. So that's just my opinion. I think both were behind in certain aspects.
From what I'm looking at for Microsoft, they're looking for those like, again, because you're seeing them kind of slowly get into that format, that third person. I can see them definitely going in that route. I don't expect State of Decay 3 to look like, for example, last one. I mean, I don't expect them to go and change.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Styles of their games, but I do expect change in that regard, right? I do expect them to try and, like, either not necessarily mimic, but get in that conversation. You know what I mean? Like, one of the biggest things I complain about for Microsoft is the fact that they're just sitting here and they're not getting into the superhero conversation. You know what I mean? Sony's out here dominating with the Marvel universe. Why aren't you jumping on the DC train? Why aren't you trying to get, you know, ties in with Disney over here? You know, you got She-Hulk introducing Daredevil. Why aren't you trying to get Daredevil?
All
I'm
right.
just saying, like, you need something.
So catch me up, man. Catch me up. Let me get these
You're
super
late.
chats.
Should've came
Okay,
in.
first
Should've
off,
been
you
on
was
time.
like 30
We already
minutes
read 'em.
late, so we ain't gonna
We
talk.
already
that.
we already read them.
Oh, you already read
Well,
them?
you got
Got
to
the
read
super
that
chats
new one.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we got a new
appreciate
one.
it. I'm having issues with work right now.
Oh, you good?
Got a $2 super chat from Called Weeb.
Carl Weeb. Yeah, that's
Dirt.
the homie.
Good old Dirt. What's up, brother?
What's up, Carl Weeb? What's happening, man? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Appreciate it.
All right, so what are we talking about, man? Okay, looks like you guys talking about some type of comic book in some way.
Nah, we're just really just tackling the whole thing.
Oh, man, we had a good old conversation, bro, about, Xbox and PlayStation pretty much.
Yeah, like, again.
I actually think that the landscape for both is really well right now. I don't think there's
I
too
agree.
much issues.
I agree.
The future's gonna be good. I see Sony stepping up even further. I say your headset's on back.
I don't care.
But
I'm so annoyed right now. I'm trying to like calm my inners down so I can get back into the addict character, which it's me. It's just like
good luck with that. We seen you play Among Us.
Look, I like Among Us. What you talk? Why you running your mouth about Among Us?
Remember what happened last time? Oh, here we go. Why is it always the addict? That's you.
Yeah, and
first exactly.
Off, hold up. Okay, hold up, Dirt. He's not giving context behind this, all right? See, my character in Among Us is to feel offended everyone says anything about me. So that way when it is me and when it's not me, I have the same exact energy. And what BitCloud is failing to tell you is one time we was playing Among Us and I killed someone right in front of him. And all he saw was me and the blood. And because I had that same energy all the time, guess who convinced everyone in that room that I wasn't the killer? I was like,
nice.
Literally.
I was like,
the door, Dirt, like the little sliding door. The sliding door closes and locks me in. And I just see I'm like, the addict's retarded.
And then the moment he brought
an emergency beat immediately happens.
Emergency beat him, so it popped up. First thing I said is, "Okay, Big Clay, let me talk. Let me talk." Okay, I was like, "Let me explain what happened." Right. I was like, "I got there and the dead body was there. I'm not saying it was Big Cloud, but I'm saying it was suspect."
I'm like, guys, he's just what I told you. Like, well, okay, we can't afford to lose. We can't afford to eject the wrong person.
What I did is I threw all the blame on BitCloud because I talked first, and then BitCloud couldn't come at me anymore, so he had to defend himself. And I convinced everyone to just vote no vote. Like,
wow, funny stuff.
And then what's funny is the person I killed when the game was over was like, "How you guys gonna?" BitCloud literally caught him dead.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, funny stuff.
Oh my god, hilarious. Good times Among Us. Good times.
Yeah.
But, going back to Microsoft, Sony. I see too much like really. I don't want to say reaching. I just think people need to just chill. Both sides are going to be fine at this point. Sony's not going to be nothing to worry about. Microsoft's definitely not going to have anything to worry about. I do think, though, like going forward, it is going to be interesting just to see how things progress going forward. That's for sure. And like I said before, competition's always good. Competition brings out the best. So we've been seeing a lot of, I don't want to see arrogance on it, but we've been seeing a little bit of a chilled, laid back, lazy type of Sony in a sense. We've been getting the bangers, but not the stuff that we've been asking for, not the features a lot of us been asking for. Where's gifting? We got wish listing on PS5. Where's the gifting option? You know what I mean? Like, where's all the other stuff that we were hoping for? We seeing remakes of games that we didn't ask for instead of remakes for games that we need. I'm just saying. So that's where I'm out in the whole thing.
Got you, brother.
Oh, I'm having everyone call me under the sun. Yeah, that was the
girlfriend. Oh man, he's one of them days.
that was the girlfriend. I had to answer that one real quick. But yeah, I think people need to realize that this isn't the PS4 generation. I think people keep acting like just because the PlayStation beat the complete dog stuff out of Xbox last generation.
Oh, it was one-sided.
That's going to happen this generation. The problem with that is the mindset for Microsoft at the beginning of last generation and the mindset for Microsoft at the beginning of this generation, they're not the same. Last generation, Microsoft wanted to continue doing gaming, but they wanted to make their console more of a, we're going to focus on everything and let you have access to a media box, not a gaming console.
Exactly.
This generation, they're focusing on the gaming portion, and they're saying, look, you can play games, but it plays Netflix, it plays Hulu, it plays everything. And that's the difference between the beasts. Now, last generation, Microsoft didn't have that gauntlet. You know, they didn't have that Thanos gauntlet. They got some of the best studios in the industry
Microsoft
right now working. Yeah, they pretty much had a SOC. You know, they had some of the best studios making games right now. Sure, maybe a lot of them are AAA, AA, but the difference is you got stuff like Obsidian that's always made quality games, but never had that push to go to the next level. You got Exile Entertainment that's always made good games, but they've never had that push to go into the next level. Now, keep in mind, they've been making a lot of games that I like turn-based stuff. The moment Microsoft acquires them, they're making a AAA, Fallout type of game.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yep.
And not to mention,
look, they had that. Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And not to mention, they might be working on a Wasteland 4 that we don't know about. So,
yeah, man. Like when you have a company like Microsoft backing you, and it's not about how much the game sold, or it's not about pitching your game to publishers. I remember Tim Schafer said, the best thing about getting acquired by Xbox is they don't have to shop their game to publisher, hoping to get some funding to finish this game or crowdfund the game. Like the whole thing with Psychonauts 2. I know you guys heard him in an interview with Adam Sessler, and Adam Sessler asked him, when you guys got acquired by Xbox, how much did the game change? And he said, we could put every boss back into the game because they had to take the bosses. All of the bosses in Psychonauts 2 would not have been in that game if Xbox didn't acquire them. And they delayed the game for a year, and we saw how great the game was. So these companies being backed by a company like Microsoft is game changing, man. So I mean, like you said, Addict, and Exile was doing, like smaller games. Now they're doing it huge AAA.
Now they can make dream passion projects.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
With money behind them. Yeah.
So it's gonna be a good gen. Like a lot of people need to understand that. Like it's not one-sided where Sony's just the only person here on the big stage with games. No, it's legit going to be like a back and forth thing. I kind of see it. It's funny. It's a funny reference, but I'm kind of thinking of like WWE right now, like under the Triple H administration. Now that Vince is gone, notice how there's change. You got characters who got removed or fired coming back,
and they're bringing them back. Yep.
And the shows have gotten progressively better. It's a prolonged change thing you're going to be seeing over here. Things are getting progressively better. You're seeing more of an aggressive nature come back. You're seeing that proper tone come back. You're seeing, drive kind of coming back in a sense for Microsoft. And that's the good thing about it. What Sony got to do? Sony just has to get back what matters. And that is pushing the games that truly matter. Push those new IPs, put those new those new characters out there. That's not remake games that we've already played on 2 gens. Let's not do that. Let's get OG classics. Yeah, I mean, give those back there. Maybe you never know. You might catch lightning in a bottle with SOCOM because what's happening. You might catch lightning in a bottle with Resistance. You might catch lightning in a bottle with Twisted Metal. You know what I mean? Like there's so many games they have at their disposal that they can be bringing back here. And I'm not even counting Evo. This is where you get aggressive. This is where you hit up Capcom. This is where you get that Resident Evil license. You know what I mean? You have to go all out and use those relationships to the fullest. And God forbid Sony pulls off something with From Software, because they hold like 1-2% in the company, but they have a crazy working relationship with them. I'd be surprised what they do.
Yeah. So, and what's funny is, we're going to get into the last topic on what's going to happen in the future of Microsoft, but because Fortnite being kicking, we're gonna talk about that real quick. You know, I'm going to give a Dragon Ball Z reference. I don't even think this is
not even a Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I don't. Shut up.
Fraud. You're a fraud. Not even a Dragon Ball Z fan.
And I'm gonna give a reference, man. I don't even think Xbox is on their final form. This ain't their final form. Like, like they in the middle of like. I feel like they still got one more evolution, man. They that Goku getting kind of like still beat. You know, they've powered up. It's kind of like equaled out. But I feel like they got one more form, man. They got that evolution form with that vibrantness is just going off their chest. God, you know, they got. I feel like Microsoft got that, man. You know, you're gonna eventually see Microsoft pop up with the 18-pack. You know, they gonna sit there. You're gonna be able to throw a glass against their chest and it's gonna break. No scars, nothing. You know, they all generation they've been having their hand up, getting that spirit bomb, and you know, I don't know if they're gonna be able to hit Sony with the spirit bomb. They might miss, but you know, we'll see if they hit them. But you know, I do want to talk about the Fortnite thing with Dragon Ball Z real quick. You know, it's kind of crazy how big. I haven't really Dragon Ball Z's always been a very popular anime for years, but it's kind of crazy how Fortnite was like, yo, we're gonna give you a Kamehameha, we're gonna give you the transformations, and we're gonna rock it. And then you look at what's going on, and it's like everyone is playing Fortnite right now. I know people that's never played Fortnite. Well, they haven't played Fortnite in 3 years. They pop it on, they're spending $30 to $50 on skins. They probably never going back on that stuff with. I'm seeing people, content creators, get their communities together, jump up in the air, and collide Kamehameha waves. Like 20 people going down a line. Like it's just, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel. But I personally feel like we've gotten to the point where Fortnite is the most influential game in history. Wow. Like they have broken that line to, it's like, look, name another game that's done this many collabs. Name another game that has enforced cross progression and cross platform on almost every big game in
not just that though,
the gaming industry.
That's true.
This game started the battle royale, royale craze. Like,
well,
PUBG did, but it wouldn't have got this big. Like,
but this kind of took it and ran with it.
Kind of like popularized. I guess that's the word I'm looking for.
It's debatable.
It's another way. Yeah,
it's debatable if they wouldn't have done what they did. PUBG might not even be around right now, because if you think about it, they made the franchise, they made that whole genre more popular than what happens then. So now you have more people playing that genre, and they're going back and they're trying PUBG. There's a world where PUBG, where Fortnite never switches to a battle royale. They keep that defense thing. That game dies in a year. And
that was trash.
Like, I honestly think there are games in history that have drastically changed the game landscape. Call of Duty, Halo, League of Legends, I think that's one of them. You know, there's games out there. WoW's changed the MMO portion of everything. There's games out there that are essential to the gaming industry that cause them to be where they're at. And these games, for the most part, are more. They have done more for the gaming industry than the actual companies that make the consoles. It's just like, I don't know of another game that has done more than Epic and Fortnite. Because it's like I said, I'm convinced a world without Call of Duty, a world without Fortnite, Call of Duty is still playing. Call of Duty's not a cross-play game. Call of Duty's not a cross-progression game. Destiny's not a cross-play game. Destiny's not a cross-progression game. And people say, Addict, all they did is give the option. Look, I get it. They didn't force these other studios to do it. But what I will say is that is when you force a company as big as Sony to bend the knee on something that big and that creative, what you did is you set a standard. And then after that, the other people, they can't fight. Like, when Sony let the Pandora's box open and they let crossplay everywhere into Fortnite, then that gave Call of Duty and Activision in. Like, look, dude, you let them do it. Why didn't you let us do it?
Right.
And I feel like those conversations are happening behind closed doors. And then keep in mind, they were still stubborn. I think, remember, there were rumors, and I believe them, that Bungie went to them multiple times to make Destiny 2 a crossplay game, and they kept denying it over and over again. And Bungie was about to go without them, and they called like the last like week before they went live, and because it's crazy. Like, I think now at this point it's everywhere. Even their own first party games are doing it now. Like the show. Like we are going to eventually live in a world where games are going to get clowned on if they're not cross-play and cross-progression. And I love it because I feel like you shouldn't be dimmed on playing with your friends on what platform you're on. The only thing that should insinuate the platform that you're playing on is first-party and third-party marketing deals. That's all. Timed exclusives. You should never get held onto a console because your friends are there. That's why you see Microsoft doing stuff like Discord. If you guys don't think that Sony and Nintendo are eventually going to follow behind on that, you're mistaken. All it takes is one of those Japan companies doing it to make it more of a standard for the other one to do it. Now, sure, I will say Nintendo might not do it. But if Sony and Microsoft are doing it, the odds of Nintendo not adapting sooner or later, and there's a reason that they would adapt, it's because of crossplay. They need that. And there's not a good, there's a lot of games that people don't know, like, that don't have.
Nintendo also has to fix their online, too.
Yeah, what?
No, I said Nintendo has to fix their online infrastructure to begin with, though. They're, like, farther behind. They're, like, the worst in this case or another. They're, like, the worst shape.
It's like I said, man. All I want is these companies to do better. It's like, I don't. We might come up here, even Dirt. We come up here, we do the console joking stuff, and I get a lot of flack for the console stuff I do. I'm not as extra as Dirt. And you guys like you like King? Go watch Dirt's podcast. Like, his is it's a fun time, man. You're gonna laugh the whole time you're there. BitCloud,
spicy, as you say, spicy.
It's really spicy. BitCloud likes to dip his toes in a little bit, but for the most part, he ain't really doing too much console war stuff. But you got guys like that, a little entertainment. See here, console wars is good for the industry, but the bad qualities of the console war outweighs the good qualities by far.
Yeah.
And that's the issue we're having.
Drawbacks? Just go to Twitter. You'll see the long-term drawbacks.
Yeah, people's brains are mush on Twitter now.
Oh my God.
Spaces. Oof.
That's not even just
I actually,
spaces,
someone in the chat, man, this is not ideal. And, feel free anyone to take it. I ain't doing it because I got too much shit I'm doing. Make a show called YouTubers versus Spacers. And where it's literally just YouTube people versus Spaces people, and it's debates. That's all.
Dude. Nah, it's like Spaces was like the worst invention ever. It just gave those who shouldn't have a voice. And then I never thought I'd see David Jaffe complete such a homicide. Like I saw a couple. It was terrible. Dirt knows what I'm talking about. It's
I know what you're talking about.
I'm like, yo, again, why are you dudes even trying at this point? You don't know what you're talking about. Nobody cares. Like, it's just, I can't, man.
And let me address the chat.
They build different.
Not this particular chat, but we got people that come into ILP, and it's not just one. I think the Thinker is a big component of it. He's real big on like timestamps and stuff. And look, I get it. Timestamps make podcasts a lot easier to navigate. But what I want people, and it's not just the Thinker, there are other people that ask for timestamps. We don't owe you timestamps. That's a luxury. ILP does timestamps because someone else does timestamps. You ain't gonna see Addict do timestamps. It ain't happening. What I've been trying to do is be better on at least going in there and telling you when the starting soon screen ends, because I feel like that is valid criticism to at least know when the starting soon screen ends. But as far as knowing the duration of the podcast, first off, this is less structured than the Iron Lords podcast. We're everywhere. I don't even know what topic we're talking about at this point. And I'm not trying to attack anyone in the chat that asks for timestamps. I just want you guys to realize that, first off, this is free content. You ain't paying for this. Some of you might want to throw some super chats in the chat and we appreciate that. It's amazing. But at the end of the day, this is free content and we don't owe you timestamps. I just want that to be clear.
Hey, that guy that you said, the thinker, nothing against him, but he's one of them guys that's never happy. There's been plenty of times that I don't like what you're talking about in this video. I don't like you talking about PlayStation fanboys. I don't like you doing that. Hey, listen, you can't please everybody, man.
People are going at me, okay? That's not a luxury. That's just being lazy. Damn straight that's being lazy. I ain't doing it.
Oh, boy.
Psycho Game, legit question. If it's your show, why wouldn't you put timestamp in your podcast for your fans? It's not the fact that I don't have time to do it right now. I just don't. I got a lot of stuff going on. It's like I said, we have a legit person that does it for ILP. And for those of you that don't know, timestamps isn't something that's done in like 10, 15 minutes. I got to skip through the podcast. Yeah. I did it for Zaire's podcast. He was giving me a little something to do his timestamps. They take a minute to do, probably 30 to 40 minutes to do correctly. Now, and it's like I said, like, I think that I'm going to test around with this stream marker thing. Because I understand your criticisms. I do. And I'm not saying that you guys don't deserve any form of timestamps. I'm just telling you, I don't have time to do the timestamps. Like, most of the time, here's my thing too. Sometimes this podcast an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. You guys need timestamps for 3 topics?
Yeah, I guess.
Addict do.
I figured out. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We know Addict do.
And that's another thing. People in there sitting in the chat. DJ, great point. I don't know if this is the point you have, but I am manipulating your point to my point. Go look at every big podcast, Weapon Wheel Podcast, ILP. Go look at every big podcast. Them people aren't doing their timestamps. Someone watching is. Am I right or am I wrong? You go look at the comment section. Other people are doing their timestamps. Why do you expect different from me? It would help the channel grow. And I agree with you. It would help the channel grow. But I think... Jeez, Addict time that as a Addict timestamp. This is a timestamp topic. You piece of shit. You guys are ridiculous. Look, I do think what I'm gonna do to try to be a little bit, because I am having artwork redone for the podcast. The last one I didn't like it that much, so I never really went with it. How would you guys feel if I changed the color off of the topic we're on? If I just pushed a button and changed the color, I feel like that's a compromise. Don't you think that's a compromise, Dirt? You see a different color, it's a different topic. I feel like that's compromises.
So, like, if it was Nintendo turns red, blue for PlayStation, green for Xbox.
No. Maybe. See, I guess that would make sense, but why is it there's 2 Nintendo topics back to back? You can't like separate them at that point.
Just keep it red.
But then I'm gonna get people in the chat that's like, Addict, separate the Xbox topics.
Yeah, if this Xbox topic, you keep it green.
I guess it's just okay. I see everybody's point, right? I guess you have to find a way that's easier for you, right? With my podcast, at first, when I started doing timestamps, I did it how you said. I will wait till after the show, listen, find it. And that was, no, I said there has to be a better way than this. So I figured out a way for me personally. I use StreamYard, so the time is always in the upper left-hand corner of like the show. Whenever we change topics, I write it down. And I write it down on my notepad right next to me. So with me, by the time the show ends, my timestamps are ready. Because while my panel was talking, while my panel was talking, I will put the timestamps in the description. Now that's what works for me. So I just think if you really want to do them, you got to find a way that's easier for you. if not, there's always other ways, like you said, get somebody to, I know because I ran in Jazz show, they have Hazard Door. He does timestamps in the comment section. Jazz will pin them, so people can go right to the timestamp. So yeah, there's ways around it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, look, the Addict Show's not big enough to get the people doing the timestamps. Okay, look, I like what Dirt said. So how I'll do next week is I'll use my handy dandy phone, like right here in my phone, and I will put in live what's going on, and then I will put it in afterwards. Now I will start doing that from now on. If you guys just get off my back over it, okay? Like, because I like that, because what's if you go to the actual screen on the
Zoom?
Dashboard
Okay.
of YouTube, it actually tells you how far into the podcast you're
Right.
in. So,
Yeah.
when we switch, then I'll just go ahead. But here's the thing, okay? I'm going to make this clear. You're only getting the timestamps of the topics in the title. You're not going to get the random stuff. I feel like that's fair. Because if I go on some long rant, I ain't going to put that. Here's the thing. You guys got to be.
Some people want that. They be like, "Hey, I didn't want to hear this rant. I just want to hear the top."
Then that's fine. Then there is timestamps in the comment section to take you to the next topic. You don't need to do that. All right, so I appreciate everyone coming through. I appreciate you guys for just give me that input. Now I understand. Like I said, I understand it's important. I do. You guys got to understand that. First off, I don't get paid for this. No one gets paid for this. People don't realize how much time we put into this stuff, and we don't get paid. Like, it'd be different if like someone big was backing us and we were all getting a paycheck to do that. I do all the timestamps and you guys want. I tell you, I will timestamp when Addict speaks. I will timestamp when Dirt speaks. Hell, I timestamp when everyone starts burping. 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Big Cloud burped 3 times. But guess what?
God.
We ain't in that realm right now, okay? We trying to go that direction. I'm trying to get the whole channel monetized like that, but it ain't there right now. They can make their own timestamps. All right, so let's talk about the future of Xbox. Xbox after the acquisition of Activision. What do you guys think? Do you think they're gonna buy a studio, another one? Do you think they're gonna wait a little bit? Like, what kind of time frame do you guys think we looking at?
I think after the Activision Blizzard deal has gone through, they're gonna focus on that for I say around 6 to 7 months. Then, if something pops up, they will buy a couple more studios. I don't know if they'll get another publisher, but I can see them get a couple more studios if available.
I want to point out to the chat right now. I'm gonna do it live. I'm making the timestamp. 1 hour and 15 minutes. We talking about Xbox after the deal. All right, so not get off my back, man. I'm doing. But there ain't gonna be timestamps for the first 2 topics. I'm not going back. All right, continue.
No, so like I said, I do believe, like, part of me believes that if Xbox wasn't in the process of the Activision Blizzard deal, they would have been the ones that bought Crystal Dynamics and like the other team from Square Enix. I really would believe it. Like, especially at the price they got them for, $300 million. Xbox would have bought them with the quickness. Just my opinion, but they were in the process of the Activision Blizzard deal. So I do believe they're going to get a couple more studios afterwards. Who, obviously, I don't know. But yeah, I definitely see that because they want to make sure the Xbox Game Pass has consistent content from their first party. And unfortunately, it's taking time. But they're going to have so many teams making games at the same time to where they're going to have, like, these teams are going to have time to develop games. Because nowadays these games, like quality AAA games, take about 4 to 5 years, easy, and they're gonna have that time. So yeah, I do see them buying someone else though.
Yeah. Do you got any like curiosity? Maybe who would you like for them to purchase after this?
Oh, that's easy right there.
Is it WB?
Yeah. I mean, they'll be just listen. They can. NetherRealm is the top of my list. Rocksteady. What's the ones that's making Gotham Knights?
Yo, this comment. I'm sorry, Dirt.
You
Yeah.
Arkham.
So let me. Microsoft should buy Comcast and throttle the internet speed for PS.
Oh wow, Bad Mondays. Oh man, come on.
No.
Oh man.
That's a good idea though.
That'll be aggressive right there. Like I said, NetherRealm, Rocksteady, and WB Montreal. I think that's the ones that's made Gotham Knights. Yeah.
I feel you guys, man. It's just I think. We'll go ahead and let BitCloud. What do you think's gonna happen after that, BitCloud? Do you think they're gonna chill for a little bit, or you think they'll come out there, big bank take little bank again, like right after that?
I mean, obviously they're gonna chill a little bit. They're gonna make their money back as much as they can. Then, more likely just go for another studio. Again, I don't think we're gonna see another big publisher like this.
Yeah.
Just to avoid the drama that they just went through over this. I don't think
Monopoly.
I don't think because if they were to just go through all this drama and then go, hey guys, let's say 7 months after this, right? They go and announce, hey, by the way, Sega belongs to us now. You know what I mean? It's gonna literally be it's gonna be the scenario all over again. You're gonna have dudes turn to conspiracy theorists. Oh, it's a monopoly, but if Sony bought, Bungie, it was a great strategic thing. It's business 101 again. Yeah, but I see games being bought for this. I would like to see WB Montreal for sure, just to get into the superhero conversation. Like I said before, but they couldn't do that. Jesus, there's so many other things they could do. I don't think Capcom would be in their arsenal. If they were to try, I don't think Capcom would be on the list.
Nah.
Square Enix and Capcom seem most likely to be inbound for PlayStation, so I don't think those would be obviously in the way. But there's a lot of other things they can do, so I don't think that would be the case. It would just be more so of what can we, I guess, bring to life at this point? Like, what studio could we go after to bring something? So, who knows? That's where I'm kind of at. I don't think anything massive happens.
I know that people ain't going to agree with me on this, but Activision makes sense for them in a lot of different standpoints. But I can't lie to you if I didn't look at that and say, I wish it was Sega.
You wish it was Sega?
Yeah.
He wish it was Sega so you can see the world.
Over Activision Blizzard?
Over Activision Blizzard.
Oh, that's what you wish? You would have liked that over.
I would have traded that.
I don't think Sega would have moved the needle like Activision.
Yeah,
how Activision Blizzard is.
See, here's the thing. I think sales wise, you're 100% right. Sales wise, you're 100% right. There's nothing Sega could ever do, but as far as like what the platform needs, I don't think they needed Activision. They had a lot of Activision already had to offer, but I think they do need a Japanese branch. And obviously you can get both. I still think you can still get both easy. I think they still might end up buying something like a Sega or something, because now people don't realize Sega separated themselves from Sammy Corporation. Like their finances, everything is separated. So I think people need to realize that stuff as well. I'm not saying that they don't need Activision. I'm just saying, like, as far as me as a gamer and what I like and with the type of games that I want, I don't really resonate with a lot of stuff that Activision makes. I'm happy that they bought them because I know that the value that those brands, especially Call of Duty, can bring to the Xbox brand, especially Game Pass. But as far as like the games that I like, it's just not there. I was more excited about Bethesda because Bethesda actually makes the games that I enjoy. It is what it is when it comes to stuff like that. I feel like they need a Japanese branch. If they don't have their own, if they don't buy a publisher, they need to make one. Go over there, find someone that is very reputable, that has really good connections to the eastern part of the world. I was one time I said Kojima. Pay him a lot of money. You'll probably have to buy his studio, unfortunately. But you get him in the branch, you make him ahead of all that branch, and he goes out there and gets AA studios to bring into that publishing unit. Get you 3 or 4, maybe 5, and then have him do the same thing that what's his name does for Bethesda. What's that dude's name? I can't remember. Peter something, isn't that his name?
Pete Hines.
Pete Hines. Yeah, Pete Hines. Have him do the same thing that Pete Hines do, and then Platinum. I don't like Platinum, but I think Platinum would be a good game to put under that Japanese branch. Get you about 4, 5, 6 prominent quality AA, AAA developers put under one person that has a lot of clout, a lot of recognition in the eastern part of the world, that he has these relations already, because that's what you're really buying him for. You're not buying him, you're buying him because he has those relations. And then sooner or later, when those games are making games and they're going into Game Pass, you have games to advertise to the eastern part of the world, because it's Mistwalker. I love it. Mistwalker, get Greenlight, a Lost Odyssey 2, a Blue Dragon 2. That's the stuff that I feel like they need to do, and I think it would be good. I think that buying Sega as a whole would be fine too. Tego, and maybe Tego could be the head of it, but I don't know. I don't think that I don't know if they have the relations that would require to navigate those eastern waters, if that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah, I got you.
Can we all just come together for one thing though? Competition is good.
Always, bro.
Finally, we got it. That's what I'm happy for. I've been asking for that for the longest time. So I used to get, Addict heated back in the old times, didn't I?
You mean the dark times?
The dark times. The dark side was strong when you guys had nothing. I just rubbed it in your face. No.
Yeah. Hey, y'all let us know too.
I mean, dude's still trying to now, but it's like, listen, they got a lot. It's going to take some time.
I think, you can only be honest and say, y'all can run with 2022 Xbox don't have no AAA games. That's fine. But you can't deny the future roadmap. I mean, that's the thing that some people try to ignore. The future roadmap is looking really good. So that's all I got to say about that, man.
Pretty much. 2022 was a disaster for Xbox in every conceivable way. Think about it in terms of the first party.
Yeah, definitely.
But
we got 250 plus people in here. Hit that like button, man. Let's get this over 100 likes. We come in here every week to give you guys a show. I apologize for last week. I ended up getting stuck on shift for 19 hours. I was at work.
Damn.
Yeah, that was rough. And by the time I got home, it was like 7:30. I was like, I'm going to bed. I'm not functioning right now. I'm going to bed. But one thing I will say about the gentleman that I have acquired, it's funny, I've acquired, is we keep it lighthearted, man. We might go at each other a little bit over like some light console war stuff, but we all know that it's not serious, man. Besides Big Cloud, it's serious to him.
Wait, what? Lies. Okay.
No, like even with me, like we do console stuff, we talk trash, but we really just cracking jokes, having a lot of fun, man.
19 hours, is that even legal? It is if you're in the health industry, because they can mandate you.
Yeah, that's mandated.
Yeah, so I got mandated. They mandated my ass. They pretty much told me I couldn't go home until they said so, and I said okay.
Yeesh.
Damn.
She did.
Yeah, it was stupid. But I appreciate everyone for coming through. I think it's like I said, this, we'll go ahead and let BitCloud talk about his perspective on trash Death Stranding coming to PC Game Pass. You missed that part of the podcast. So how did you feel about garbage Death Stranding coming to PC Game Pass?
That's actually on Game Pass.
PC Game Pass. It's supposed to come to Game Pass. PC Game Pass. I might actually play it now.
You're not gonna play that game. Stop it. As someone who platinumed that game, put a lot of hours into that game, how do I feel about it? Well, first of all, I remember correctly, they announced the sequel not so long ago, right? They said Dead Stranding 2 is happening, and so they did say that's happening. So going back to this, how do I feel about it? I mean, I don't really have a feeling for it whatsoever. I mean, a lot of dudes who probably are getting bent out of shape of it going to PC Game Pass need to understand one thing clear. It was never Sony's game. It was Hideo Kojima's project that Sony helped fund and push. That's it. That's literally it. So whatever that game was gonna do, it came down to Kojima. He had the final say in whatever that game goes.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Well, it's Kojima's game.
Didn't Sony own the IP?
They do not.
I'm pretty sure they own the trademark to Death Stranding.
They own the trademark. I'm pretty sure they own the trademark probably, but I know for a fact it's not theirs. It's Kojima's say. It's in his contract.
I mean, he might have a contract that says that.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. If you own the trademark, you own it. Like,
I know.
I just Googled it and it says Sony owns it. Yeah.
They do? No.
Well, yeah, shit. I just Googled it. That's what Google said.
Yeah.
Sony Interactive and Sony for PC like, 505 published for PC.
Sony in the words of King, Sony went up on the platform. They looked down to the Sony peasants.
Yeah,
I mean, low key though.
Sony owns the IP. Yes, they do.
They look down. Let me finish my joke real quick. They look down to the Sony peasants and they're like, I got one thing to say to you guys about Death Stranding. You're not enough. We got to take this to PC. We got to get the bag from Microsoft. We got to do everything we can with this game because you guys wasn't enough. You didn't go out there and support it. What happened with that? Dirt, I thought it was important to support the developers. What happened to that?
I buy my games.
You buy some of your games. Yeah, what's funny is, Sony's very big on coming out there and saying if a game made a lot of money. Have I seen any tweet from them about Death Stranding?
Nothing for Death Stranding, nothing for Horizon.
Oh, Horizon. Well, that was
we know what happened there, but a lot of dudes don't want to admit what happened. That's why they were talking down on that game.
See, what they should have done is they should have came in there right before they dropped that game and shot an arrow into Elden Ring's knee. Like, they should have crippled Elden Ring because they got into a ring with a behemoth and got slapped out of that ring. Like,
oh man, there was so much.
It was like one of those. It's like one of those things where they come in that look like anime. They slapped him and he just slapped him straight out of the Coliseum. You just see, you see way up there at the top. You see Horizon and Elden Ring. It's just some giant behemoth just slapping him up there.
You know what kills me about that game though? Because that's another game. I'm happy I platinum because that's one of the best games we've gotten. But it's funny. These guys gave us Bloodborne. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's a game that got me into Souls-esque games in general. I never thought I would see so many people flip on this studio and say they're overrated because it doesn't have the PlayStation Studios logo on the game. They were saying they were overrated.
Hold on, man. Is Big Cloud calling out these PlayStation fanboys, man?
I mean, listen, I've seen dudes flat out come out here and you can check their stats. They're like, Elden Ring is easy. It's trash. Horizon Forbidden West is better. And I'm looking at their stats. Look at the trophies. They didn't beat Elden Ring.
The trophies determine that is a lie.
They only beat one boss in Elden Ring, people. But they're like, I beat a whole bunch of bosses. It's easy. It's easy, huh? It's easy, huh? But you only be one main boss.
We got a $2 super chat from Gamer by Choice. Great show, guys. It's always a great time.
And then you got the Horizon side.
East West 113 in the chat is saying BitCloud is pandering.
Pandering to who?
I don't know. Maybe are you pandering to PlayStation?
Who am I pandering? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Horizon anyway. Horizon as well. I'm looking at the Horizon joint. Dudes haven't even beaten the story for Horizon. Platinum both these games. And the funny thing is, I took the long route for Horizon because I had to wait for the patch to fix the 60 FPS mode. The game wasn't looking too good on 60 FPS, but still. It's just funny to me, man.
Don't you like how he keeps bringing up he platinum this, he platinum that?
Because I'm a gamer.
That's pretty impressive, man.
I'm a gamer. That's what I do.
Yeah,
I don't run my mouth about it.
I got to see your PayPal statement, see if you paid anyone to platinum these
games. Are you looking at my PSN? Are you looking at my PSN where the platinum logo is? It says 0.
Yeah, mine says 0.
See, here's the funny thing. It's not even about platinum.
You know what? You know what, Dirt? You have 0 because he paid you to do all of his. You don't want to platinum you again.
But no. See, the platinum thing. Okay, so the platinum thing, it's just added a little extra layer when I'm showing that dudes. Listen, now that I played this game, I want the extra mile. You know what I'm saying? Half these dudes don't do that. Majority of these dudes don't do that. They just run their mouths about them. They'll beat it once and they'll talk about it for months like it was this great revolutionary experience when they're not playing it. And they'll act like they're still playing it. You're not playing it. It always tricks me out when the game goes to PC and they act like, oh, they're all emotional over it. It's like, you're not playing it. You played it one time and you were done. I've seen that with so many damn games. It's wild. Like, can we just move on? Can we just get past this?
Yeah,
play the games first.
We all got to play the games, man.
We can't be like Addict, man. We can't be like Addict. We can't play Bleeding Edge.
I've beat
about for 3 years. We can't just play Bleeding Edge.
I most likely beat more games.
We can't
than
play.
you beat this year.
No.
Oh no! How many games have you beat?
No. I mean, you beat.
See, you want to know how many I beat?
I want to know how many.
So I asked you first. You just want to add one to whatever I beat. I'm not letting you do that. Like, so you go. I asked you first, and the person that asks first is the one that gets the info first. So how many games have you beat?
This is the YouTube street. These are the YouTube streets.
Oh, so you watching videos on YouTube? Is that what you say?
No, I said these.
You watching games on YouTube? Yo, Dirt, you saw it here first.
No.
You heard it here first.
I didn't say
he
that.
said that he watched these games in the YouTube streets.
Hey, I ain't in it.
I don't know what he talking about there, but okay.
Why you always lie?
I don't know what he doing there.
So funny, man.
We got $2 super chat from Flame. Hey now, BitCloud. Bleeding Edge was a game. I guess. I actually like Bleeding Edge. I don't think the issue wasn't the content. The issue was I do feel like Microsoft let them just get that out the gate with no intentions on supporting it afterwards.
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, I feel like that game could have done something if, they would have worked on it a little bit more, and they didn't. But it is what it is. I enjoyed what I played of it, but we're gonna go ahead and tie this up, man. We're gonna do these outros. You know what I'm gonna do though? 1 hour and 34 minutes. So I'm gonna push enter and I'm gonna say outros, and then 1 hour and 34 minutes. So where have you been at? What's going on with you, BitCloud?
You already know my channel, BitCloud Gaming, every Friday, RHD podcast, where you find me. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have not dropped any content. I was meant to drop a few things, but I didn't get a chance to. We're dealing with while we're getting over a death in the family. I buried my cousin. When we said goodbye to my cousin. So that's what's going on there. But we'll be getting back to that, I guess, hopefully tomorrow, maybe. I'm not really sure. Just been healing for the whole time. And really stayed away from social media. I haven't really posted much. I just really just doing all that stuff. But I have been gaming just trying to get away from a lot of energy, I guess you can say. So
I hear you, man.
That's what's been going on with me, man.
What are you, Derek? What's going on with you? What you doing next?
Actually, I'm a guest on Boomstick's podcast at 7:00. So everything kind of worked out for me today because I thought I was gonna be late because I had some personal stuff to do, but that only took an hour, thank God. So I was able to get here. So Boom finally invited me on the show. I'm gonna go to his podcast after this and have a little fun, I guess.
That's what's up. You guys, we are having an industry guest this Sunday. I'm not telling you guys. Last thing I need is calls like, you're supposed to be telling people that. So we have he's never been on ILP. I don't even know if I should give you guys hints, man. I'm scared to call. If you you don't know. No one is very few people's probably seen Cognito in person. He's a very built person. This dude could squish my head like a watermelon. It's huge. Probably Friday, Saturday, you'll know. Now it's not Phil Spencer. If it's in the chat, I'll let a couple get said first, and then I will. It's not Jim Ryan. Why people? When you say you're having industry people on, people go with the craziest person that it could possibly be. It's like, no, it's not. But I appreciate everyone for coming through. We're going to end this up on a good note. We had Big Cloud, Dirt Griggity. Definitely go follow both of them. Twitter, because they be posted, especially Dirt, man. Dirt be messy on there. I think you guys will enjoy his stuff.
I actually don't tweet that much, but my channel, is a lot of fun.
Yeah, but
I don't.
You get access
April
to them
Fools,
from your
damn well you
tweet, man.
post.
You get access to them.
I don't post that much.
All right, so I
Flash.
appreciate everyone for coming through, and we're gonna go ahead and end this. Definitely put put your channel in the chat, Dirt, before we.
Yeah, I'll do it right now. Before we get out of here, thank you. Let me get it. Appreciate you guys.
Tell me when it's.
Hey, somebody still said timestamps.
I'm not timestamping anymore. They got 2 timestamps from me, so definitely go to both of these channels, man. Subscribe. You guys, you like our content, you'll like theirs. And without any further ado, I'll talk to you guys later. Gaming Addict,
Peace
Big
out.
Cloud, and Dirt out.